Okay, Pete, we'll give you a radar vector on this one. Sounds like a pretty good vector. Sounds like a pretty good vector. Okay, Pete, we'll give you a radar vector on this one. Sounds like a pretty good vector.
right. What is going on? Welcome to the long the long Independence Day weekend. Here it is, July 2nd. It's been a while, so we're going to have a retro game quarantine stream. What do you think about that? I hope you appreciate it. So what's going on out there? It's hot here in LA. It's very warm. I think it's about 90 degrees inside the Geek Cave right now. So I have multiple fans going. So hopefully that sound is not going to be too annoying to everybody out there. But, we're going to do the best that we can. I got a half day today, so I had a little time to finish up some of my soldering projects that I currently have going on. One thing that I'm happy about is that I fixed quote unquote my Super Nintendo, which was having some weird video issues. But upon looking at it again, I think that it may have been incorrectly plugged into my G-Comp switch. But I don't know. I took it all apart and cleaned out the cartridge slot. I took the cartridge slot apart and cleaned it, and I've never done that before. So, gave it the business with some isopropyl alcohol, and hopefully that's gonna keep me going here for a while. So yeah. So here we are. I've got lots of plans for the holiday weekend. Right now, LA Dead Red has a buddy over, and they're watching movies and stuff. Shill accounts here, Yeah, my new boss is pretty awesome. He's actually on PTO right now, so he sent us a "you guys can all go home" message while he's out on vacation. So I could see I've been wearing Breathe Right strips to help me with snoring, and I look like I have a broken nose, but that's just a mark from that. So if anybody has any tips out there to help with snoring, put them in the comments. Let's do it. Shill account is here. Nice to see a Shill account. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of Adventure yet, so you're not going to see Adventure tonight in the stream. The only two Atari 2600 games I own are Miner 2049er and Empire Strikes Back. And for whatever reason, the only Atari 7800 joystick I have does not seem to work with the buttons, at least in Empire Strikes Back. So I don't know. I assume that the 7800 joystick was intended to be used for 2600 games, given that the 7800 is backwards compatible with 2600 carts. So you just stick them in and they work. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that they would expect you to put your 2600 controllers in, but maybe that's the case. But anyway, I have one of these smart looking, let me see if I can, my fan is on top of it. One of these smart looking Atari 7800 joysticks. Definitely an improvement over my beloved Atari 5200. Some similar design aesthetics with the joystick and then the two buttons on the side. But definitely this, I think, Shill account, I think you're going to appreciate the joystick action here. It's not clicky necessarily, but it's definitely a nice solid feel up, down, left, right. It's a good stick. It's probably, as far as retail joysticks go, like arcade style joysticks, that's a pretty decent looking joystick. I mean, most home arcade units, as far as joysticks go, were pretty anemic. Like the 5200 had the Atari style kind of stick up here, but it didn't have this nice big knob. Like, that's a nice knob. And I remember there was definitely a time as a kid where I felt like the Nintendo Entertainment System D-pad was definitely inferior to a big honking joystick. Like if you were a kid at the time, you definitely wanted an NES Advantage because you saw that as a better stick. But I think history maybe has not borne all that out over time, but at any rate, this is a 7800 joystick. Let me get myself situated again here. Set up my fans. What an ordeal. And I have an extension cable for my ColecoVision, and it actually works with the 7800, so I'm happy about that. I haven't tried every single game, but given that the 7800 only has 2 buttons, I think it's probably going to be compatible. I know that there's a problem with the DIN 15 extender, which does technically fit the Atari 5200. The ones that were made for the Neo Geo do not work because the Atari 5200 joystick has the weird keypad, and I guess it used some kind of arcane 80s style joystick, firmware. I don't know. For some reason, it doesn't work, or the voltages are different, and the pins are different outs, or I'm not a hardware guy. I'm more of a software guy. That might surprise you, given what we're going to see today. But my understanding is you can't, just because it's a DIN 15 does not mean that it's hot swappable between the two systems. So I don't know. So how's it going, Shill Account? What are you doing out there for the 4th? You can see I've got we're LA Dad Red and I are doing we're gonna do each other's hair on Sunday before the fireworks show, so you can see I'm extra poofy right now. I did have product in earlier this morning, but it's when it's hot like this, it just all kind of melts out eventually. So and this is a Saturday or it's a Friday afternoon show, so you know what that means. Some real beers. I'm drinking an active ale. We got 2 net carbs and 95 calories. This calls itself an ale, but it's actually basically kombucha. But it's not bad. It has kind of like a fruity taste, and it's better than seltzer. I'm trying to cut back on the alcohol-based calories, and I'd rather drink this than a seltzer. This is kind of like what does it taste like? I guess it kind of tastes like if New York Seltzer went bad, maybe a little bit. Oh my God, Zane's dad is in here. Zane's dad, an ultra rare retro gamer Discord crossover. That's a great question, Zane's dad. Let's get into it. Are you ready to get into it? We got 2 people in the chat. Well, 3 viewers, 2 people in the chat. So let's cut to the chase here. Let me switch it over to gameplay mode, and that will reveal the first 7800 game. So, Zane's dad, you're a retro game enthusiast such as myself, enough to hang out on a Discord server. So this is Miss Pac Man for the 7800, the 7800 version, because as you know, the 7800 can play 2600 games, but this is not the 2600 version. This is not the 5200. This is the 7800 version of this. So I bought a 7800 a little while ago, and let me see if I can bring this up. Wait a minute. How come this is not... Wait, I know why. Probably because this is turned off. Let's see here. I'm working with OBS. There we go. All right, so I bought a 7800 version, a 7800 on OfferUp for $50 from a guy in Michigan, and he shipped it to me with a shoebox full of 7800 games, a working 7800, and a 7800 power supply, which are hard to find because they have a weird end connector. So, I mean, there's nothing in here that's really extremely valuable, I would say. But there's definitely some good games in here. There's like Karateka, like Zane's dad is saying. You got Galaga, Choplifter, Food Fight, Dig Dug. What else we got? Donkey Kong, Miss Pac Man, Joust. I mean, there are a few crappy sports games, but not a bad haul, I'd say, as far as online auctions are concerned. I haven't actually tried to play all of these, and I know, like, for example, Dig Dug was acting a little weird on me when I tried it. Yeah, I'm not actually a big basketball fan, but I do think that Bird versus Dr. J, I think that is that game. And the 7800 version has cool kind of late 80s pixel graphics, similar to like a Sierra game. Like, it looks like, King Graham is playing against what's the guy from Space Quest? Well, it looks like two Sierra characters are playing basketball. Like, it's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, it does not have Basket Brawl, which had some pretty sweet 80s pixel graphics versions of punk rockers. So. Well, Zane's dad, maybe, Roger Wilco. Thank you. God, oh my God, sorry, so embarrassing. Of course, Roger Wilco playing against King Graham. That's what they kind of remind me of in this era of sports games. But what else is in there? Hat Trick, which I'm assuming is hockey. So I think there was. And I can't read the one between Miss Pac-Man and Centipede here because I don't have my glasses on, foolishly. But that's either basketball or baseball, so Yeah, Karateka, which I have never. I'll put it in and boot it up for you guys if you guys want to see Karateka on the or Karateka, or however you want to pronounce it, on the 7800. I've never played it, and I've only played it on like C64, so I'm not really sure how on a 2-button controller you're going to change stances and do all the different stuff that you would have done on the C64, but we can give it a try, and I'll definitely die to the first guy that I see, and we can see what that's all about. But yeah, let's get in. But I'm starting it off with Miss Pac-Man, because who doesn't love a little Miss Pac-Man, Yeah, I had a friend who called it Karateka when I was a kid. And he was also the friend I knew that owned the Commodore 64 that I was playing it on. So that's just how I got used to saying it. But I actually think it's probably Karateka. I don't know. Zane's dad, do you have a 1200 XL? Do you have like an 8-bit computer, like one of like an 800, or I have an XEGS, and I have Miss Pac-Man on that, but I think that is basically just the Atari 5200 version. So is the Miss Pac-Man for 1200 XL basically this 7800 version? Oh, okay, 1200 is an 8-bit. Okay, I was thinking 1200 was a later style one. But no. Okay, so then whatever one you have is probably similar to the version of Miss Pac-Man I have. And I have the 5200 version of Miss Pac-Man as well, which compared to the 2600 version is obviously awesome. And Zane's dad, just so you know, my streams always start off with a lot of chit-chat at the beginning, so that's you're in for a penny, in for a pound as far as I'm concerned, But let's take a look at. Okay, see, I thought then I guess because the fact that the 1200 is not as important as the XL, right? Yeah, because because I have like a flash card for my XEGS, and one of the folders that came with it is basically just 5200 ROMs, and they don't all work, but some of them do. So I figure if the XEGS could technically play 5200 ROMs within a certain, I think that it depends on whether it's like a megabit or more than a megabit or something like that. You know. Listen, shill account. It's been a while. I have a new job, so I have not been streaming as much. So, you know, I have a story to tell about the 7800, okay? That's right. See, once I start inviting in my buddies from the Retro Gamer Guy Discords, I am not going to be able to bullshit as much as I do in my normal streams. And so my normal audience who just comes to these streams and watches this stuff and goes, "Oh, okay, sure, a 1200 XL, that's a newer version than an XEGS. Sure, that's great. But Zane's dad is not going to let me get away with that, and that's totally fine. I want this to be an educational thing, you know, for the young people out there. You know, my nephews come in and watch this sometimes, so they need to see me being held accountable for my BS, you know. So I got this great system, but unfortunately, all of the buttons on the top of the thing were stuck. Someone had spilled an entire, maybe multiple times, can of Coke on it. So I have a picture here. So this is a close-up of this is the select and reset buttons here. These were totally fused, and you can see there's like caked on dried Coca-Cola or something, some kind of brown, sticky, viscous, you know, well, it's not viscous now, but it was hardened enamel of 30-year-old soda, because you can see here in this image the kind of metal band that's going through the middle of the screen. That's where the RF shield was bolted down to the motherboard. And so the RF shield actually did a pretty good job of keeping the soda from reaching the rest of the motherboard. But right at that connection point, it was just like a little layer all the way around of Coke or whatever it was. And it did turn on. It would turn on, but none of the other buttons were functional. So, and the only way I could get it to turn on was to crack it open and hold down the power button for a long time. So, I took the thing apart. I removed all of the start buttons and got new push buttons from Console 5. I put the outer shell through the dishwasher, or I don't have a dishwasher. I washed it with dish soap and let it dry. And then for the motherboard, I just took isopropyl alcohol and vinegar, and I cleaned that bad boy up with a toothbrush. I replaced a bunch of the devices and buttons and stuff like that, and it ended up looking like this. Let's turn this on, turn this off. So this is what it looked like after I was done. So just as a reminder, here is the before pic. Okay. And here's the after pic. Before, after. Before, after. So I think that's a pretty good cleanup job. I wasn't really sure about it. The isopropyl alcohol wasn't doing very good at cleaning it. And then I read on some website that you could use vinegar for caked on soda on an old video game system, and I used vinegar, and they said as long as you let it dry before you put any electricity through it, you should be fine. So I just scrubbed that bad boy down with vinegar and let it sit for 24 hours so I could be sure it was totally dry. And there you go, brand new buttons. I replaced some of these resistors. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I basically just look these things up on Mauser and buy them, you know. But yeah, so that's all cleaned, and then the next step was I have an RF demodulator, but I really wanted to use composite for this. Sorry, composite. And so I was going to do an AV mod. So the first step of that was to use a Fosner bit, which is this bit right here, also known as a step down bit. You can actually see the 7800 motherboard in the background there. So I use this Fosner step down bit to very carefully drill 3 1/4-inch holes in the side of the 7800. And the 7800 has a notoriously brittle shell, so you really, if you're going to use normal drill bits on it, you need to be very careful because you could really crack this thing. The Fosner bit is like designed, in my understanding, for drilling into wood, so it's a little bit easier on brittle plastics, or at least that's what the guy at the hardware store said. So I used it and I drilled some holes and I ended up with 3. Sorry for anybody who's OCD out there. I know I put them in the wrong order. It should be yellow, white, red, I think. But whatever. I'm the only one using it. This is my 7800, and I just put them in like that. So these are these are the composite plugs here. I drilled that out and got them ready to go. And so the first step there was then to put in some wiring. So I started by wiring. If you look at this picture, you can see the 3 green wires are for ground, and then you've got yellow, red, and blue for the audio. And I showed that to some of my buddies on the same Discord that Zane's dad hangs out on. And somebody was like, oh, you should just bridge all those grounds together and just have one ground coming off. And since the 7800 is a mono system, you can actually just bridge the audio too, and that'll save you a bunch of wires coming off. So I did that, and it went from looking like this to looking like this, which is slightly less messy, I guess, So you can see there I bridged the 2 audio signals since the audio coming off of the system is in mono. But an interesting thing about the 7800 is that there's actually 2 different audio chips. So the primary audio chip in the 7800 is the same as the one for the 2600, which is why the 7800 has notoriously bad audio. But there are some games that use their own specialized chips, like Ball Blaster 3D and Commando, I think. I don't have either of those games, but if you wire up 2 resistors a certain way with a capacitor, you can actually mix the 2 sound outputs together into one signal, and the capacitor balances the 2. And then you can run them out in mono, and you can make sure that you'll be able to play any 7800 games, I think that it's kind of the way that GBA works, where you can get a 2600 flash cart or a 7800 flash cart, but you can't have one that does both. Like, you can get a GB cart or a GBA cart, but you can't get one that does both. I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. That's definitely going to be, now that I have this thing up and running, I'm going to get that thing going because Shill Account and I want to stream some Adventure at some point. So either I'm going to buy a copy of Adventure, which is not expensive, or buy a flash card and then just have every single 2600 game known to man available, which will be good because I'm sure that at some point Shill Account is going to want to play like, Chase the Chuck Wagon or some rare game that or Air Raid. Air Raid, is that the one that's like thousands of dollars? I don't know. All right, I will definitely look that up, Zane's dad. I am not that up to date on my Atari flash carts. I do have an Ultimate UA8 flash cart for the XEGS, but that's the only Atari flash cart I own. And truth be told, if I was going to buy an Atari flash card, I think the first one I would buy would be for my Lynx. But I've been getting into 7800 stuff now. I kind of like these maligned systems that nobody cared about. So the 7800 sort of fits in the same pocket as the Lynx does for me, where all the games are pretty cheap and It's just kind of a system that nobody cares about. So, I don't know. It's easy for everybody to hey, now come on. The Lynx was okay, For the time it came out, a handheld system, it did not have a very good screen, but the ergonomics of the Lynx for a guy with big, huge meat paws like myself, it's a good system. All right, so we've been looking at this composite for a while now, so let's move on to the next slide. So I got that wired up a little bit better. Now, this was the first board that I put in there. This is a board, I don't know where I got this board from. Maybe eBay? I'm not sure exactly where it came from. But this is a basic composite board. You essentially run you can't really see it. Maybe if I let me see if I can slide this up. Okay, so let me slide this a little bit around. I guess it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but the video and power and ground out are all coming out of these 4 holes that the RF board was plugged into. I removed the RF board because I was never going to use RF again. And so this chip is basically sitting where the RF board used to be. And these 4 holes sort of down in the lower right-hand side where there's like a green wire, a black wire, and a yellow wire. The green wire is ground, black is power, and yellow is the video out coming from the RF board. And then you can kind of see on the right-hand side, there's the little kludged together audio circuit I made by combining the 2 resistors into a single capacitor and then running that out to the audio board. That's the red wire. And then you can see coming out of the top there are the 3 cables that are going, or the 3 wires going to the RCA jacks. And that worked okay, but I wanted to, there is a mod that lets you do as a video. And so I wanted to, oh my God, the RF, to answer your question, Zane's dad, the RF board was pretty hard to get off. It was you can kind of see in this picture, there's these kind of big round copper holes right there. There was 4 of them that were basically like screw holes, and they were just filled with solder. So like we're talking like a pea-size knob of solder in each corner holding that RF shield in place. And I tried to heat it up to pull it out, and I had to turn my iron up to about 400 centigrade, which is way higher than I ever do anything in. And it was kind of liquefying the solder, but I could not get the full P to liquefy enough to pull the thing out. So I turned my soldering iron back down, and what I did was I added a bunch of new solder into those holes, and then I just used like an entire solder wick to wick out all the solder. And eventually I got it out without destroying the board. But yeah, definitely I think if I don't have a desoldering gun, so I think if I had a desoldering gun, that would probably be a lot easier task than what I had with just a soldering iron and solder wick, etc. Okay, so that was all fine and good, and that was working pretty well. But I want to eventually get S-Video on this thing, and so the guys over at Brewing Academy sell what's called the Ultimate AV board, which takes sync signals off of the resistor ladder down here. You can see the resistor ladder down in the lower right-hand corner of this picture. And essentially you just run a wire off of about 6 of those, and that gives you your various different composite and sync signals so that you could have S-Video. Now, I don't have S-Video running yet, so the gameplay you're going to see is just composite running through a RetroTink, but ultimately my goal is to get S-Video. I just need to figure out how to wire up the S-Video plug, and I'm still doing some research on that because, like I said, I'm not an electrical engineer, so composite video is easy. It's just one wire, easy breezy. So today let me turn on the next picture. Let me pull this. Nope. Hold please. All right, let's move this down. So today I wired in a new board. So this is kind of hard to see here, but this white board here, this is the ultimate video board. I had my friend Sodium Lord, who sometimes comes in the chat, 3D print me a no-cut a no-cut 3D printed bracket, so I could put the two composite plugs into the two holes where the RF out and the old RF channel selector switch used to be, because I actually had an old 4-part 7800 case sitting around. So this case now has not been cut, even though I did use a step down bit to put composite plugs into the other case. This case now looks nice and clean. There's 2 holes in the back. It's just ready to go, you know. And you can see here, running all the boards up into the resistor chain. And we can get a little bit closer look at that here. So I ran there's about 6 or 7 wires that come off of here out of the resistor chain. There's one that goes to ground. There's one that goes to power, and then you run all that out to the composite video and audio outs. So I did this today. We got off early today, so it probably took me about an hour. So not too bad, you know. Hey, Acric is here. What's up, Acric? And that is the story of my 7800 mod. So you guys ready to see some gameplay? Let's do it. Turn all these off. All right. Nothing wrong with that, Acric. You just take your time and lurk away, bro. Or broette. If Acric is a friend of mine who I know, then I'm sorry for or not misgendering you, but you're a they, them, you know, and that's fine. No, this game is going to have sound. It doesn't run sound during the attract mode here. So I'm going to have to get up and go press start because there's not a start button on the joystick. That's how old this thing is. All right, here we go. Pretty good approximation of the Pac Man sound. Oh! Okay, hold on. Okay, just got to get in the groove. Don't worry. That's the last time I'm going to clear this board. Okay, okay. Really not impressing with my Pac Man abilities. Down. Let's eat these ghosts. Okay. Yikes! All right, don't worry, everybody. This is the warm up. Come on, here we go. Let's get these ghosts. All right, come on, let's just go finish it off. Let's not be a hero. Now look at that. That's quality audio, you know? I would say that this is a better rendition of Pac Man than was on the Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't know how you feel about that statement, but you know, probably not. Probably not many games you could say that about, but I bet this one is better. Nope. Well, nobody cared about Pac Man when the 7800 hit either. I'll tell you that much. You know? All right, now I have to go walk and press reset again. All right. Oh, wait. What's going on? Okay. That was pretty cool. I lost control and I didn't die until I had control again. That was nice of the game, you know? Wait, why aren't you... What's this going on? Up is not working very well right now. Up is definitely having a problem. Nope. Down is working great, but not up. Well, that's what retro gaming is all about, you know? Not being able to press up on the D-pad. As you can see, I think the next... hey, Topher, what's up? This is the 7800. I think the next project that I'm going to have to do is to clean my 7800 joystick. I've actually done absolutely no maintenance to it. And so the same guy who spilled Coke all over the 7800 in the first place probably also spilled Coke all over this controller too. So right now it seems like the X-axis is a little stiff. You know what? I have my brand new Ranger controller. Why don't we pop out the Ranger and see how that works on Pac Man? You know, we'll give you guys a real taste, and then I can't let the joystick be my excuse for why I'm sucking at Pac Man. Just let my own natural inability to play Pac Man be my excuse. So at some point, I got this. Yeah, this is the. Is this Hyperkin? Yeah, this is the Hyperkin. It's got. It's kind of cool. I on one end, I don't know how well you can see this on the video. It's got like a knob, like a dial knob, so you could play games like Missile Command or something that needed like the tennis controllers. Then it has a pretty standard sort of, Xbox 360 era D-pad joystick and a single button. So I'm not going to be able to play any 7800 games that require both button inputs. But let's check it out. It should work for Pac Man, But man, not having start and pause on the controller, what a luxury, I got to get up and press start every single time I want to start the game. What a pain in the ass. Here, while I'm getting this set up, for Topher's benefit, I'm going to put back up the list of games that I got with this 7800, so you guys can, you guys in the chat can start thinking about what games do I want to see Ryan suck at next. That's not a naked demon chick. That is my copy of Wonder Woman, 57. That's Cheetah. It was in a variant comic book. What is it? Which one is it? It was from the Year of the Villains thing they were doing a few years back. But it's what's her name? Jenny Frizen. I like her, she's a good artist, so I buy variants that she does. So she's not a demon, I don't think. She's just a tiger lady. All right, we're going to reset, and we're going to run back over here, and we're going to play some Pac Man. I like how it gives me just enough time to run back over here, Anyway, I think the color is right. I think the sound is good. Even the sound of the cherries like thudding around the maze. Pretty accurate. Oh. Huh, okay. A little bit of a sticky one there, but that's okay. Not doing as bad as I was before. Come on. Oh, you. Those. Ah! You bastard. I don't think it has a holographic cover. I think it's just artistique. Alright, let's hit some of these ghosts. I'm not gonna fall for it again, though. Oh! Come on. All right, no, I'm not going to take a chance. You know? I'm playing it safe. You know? I'm not Billy Mitchelling it, you know? How accurate is this version of Pac Man? Does it end in the perfect game, quote unquote? Now that is a good rendition of that song. That sounds pretty much like it does in the arcade, you know? Topher, you're a big Star Wars guy. Maybe we'll play some Empire Strikes Back, and you can hear the 2600 rendition of the Star Wars song. You know. Oh god. Oh shit. Getting a little squirrely here, you know. Come on, guy. All right, game over. Oh, if I just press the button, it starts up again? Okay. Karateka? All right. Let's hope Karateka doesn't need two buttons. All right. All right, you got everybody here knows what Pac Man is. Out of there kind of hard. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Nope, that's one-on-one baseball, hat trick. All right. Karateka has a real Star Wars ripoff theme song. High atop a craggy cliff, guarded by an army of fierce warriors, stands the forces of the evil warlord Akuma. Deep in the darkest dungeon of the castle, Akuma gloats over his lovely captive, the Princess Mariko. You are one trained in the way of karate. A karateka. Alone and unarmed, you must defeat Akuma and rescue the beautiful Mariko. Put fear and self-concern behind you. Focus your will on your objective. Accepting death as a possibility. This is the way of karateka. Karateka. Shit, we're already into it. We're already into it, everybody. All right, let's see here. My guy is moving in and out of karate stance. Or maybe this is just a demo? Let's press start and see what happens, you know? Well, it does not seem to want to work with the new controller. All right, when I push forward, he does like a little kick. That's a high kick. Let's see, down. Oh. Oh, no, buddy. No. All right. How did I change stances? Okay. Oh, I see. Maybe. All right, there we go. So the... All right, so now I'm in fighting stance. Yes, kick him. Kick. No. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, get him. Come on. Yeah, there it is. That's the stuff. That'll do the business. Oh God. Get back. You're, yeah. Oh. All right, well, that's Karateka, everybody. How do you block? Shill account, you're the C64 guy. How do you block? All right, now this is walk stance, so we definitely don't want to be in this. So we need to transition to fight stance. All right, I have that pretty much figured out. Back seems to be punch. Down. Nothing. Up. Nothing. Forward is kick. And if I hold down the left button and push forward, he creeps forward. All right. Now it's here we go. Yeah, there it is. Kick. Come on. Kick him. Yeah, that's the stuff. That'll do the business. All right, look, he's creeping away like a jerk. All right, now let's do some more kicks, everybody. Yeah, take that. Take some more kicks. We did it. We beat the first guy. All right, okay. Let's switch to walking mode and see how that works for us for a while. Okay, walking. He's running. Uh-oh, here comes another guy. Ooh, look, we're seeing the beautiful princess. Oh, so stunning. Look at these graphics. Look at that animation. Oh, better switch back to fighting stance. We have another guy who's wearing the hat of the main bad guy from Tron. I forget his name. He wasn't the MCP. He was just the guy who talked to the MCP. What was that guy's name? The British guy. You know, he kind of looks like that. Come on, punch. Oh, yeah, look at a devastating kick attack. He's too smart for me. Come on, get in there. Get a good kick going. Yeah. Come on, one more flurry of kicks should finish this guy off. Come on. Oh, he's too smart. Here we go. Kick him. Kick. Oh, yeah. It's not really button mashing because the buttons only change your stance and have you walk. So it's really more like holding your controller in one position mashing. No! Oh my God. I thought there was going to be another sweet ass cutscene. with Princess Prin, you know? No, you're not gonna get me with your fancy punch kick combos. Come on. Oh, look at him. Look what a wimp. Uh-oh, get back, karateka guy. Come on, you're gonna have to inch back. Oh God, okay. Alright, let's get our stamina back. You know? Ferp, 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 ferp. Alright. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're gonna oh no, don't accidentally switched into walk stance. Well, I killed at least one guy, you know, so it doesn't wait, is this the first guy? No, don't run headlong into him, you idiot. All right, here we go. Come on. Yeah, there it is. I don't know, but this guy's hat is pretty spectacular. Oh my God, he's so close to death. Come on. Let's kill him so we can see the sweet cutscene with Princess Prin. Come on, Johnny. Look, there he is. Look at that big bouffant hairstyle, you know? That's how you know it's the 80s. No. Switch stances, karateka guy. All right, down. What's down? Nothing. Up. Up. Kick. That's kick. Back. Okay. Let's wait for him to be done punching. Okay. Now we'll inch closer and then let's. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Look at him. Look how scared he is. All right. Back punch. Let's go. Come on. No, he's hiding. He's really not. Come on. Let's get in there with some kicks, some fearsome kicks. Let's do some more punching. Yes. Make him think twice about coming our way. No. Ugh. It's kind of like playing in slow motion. No, don't you dare do it. All right, new game. This game was okay. I think this game could be pretty fun. You just need to take some time to learn how to play it, you know? But I watched a video of 7800 games, and the guy that did the video was like, I can't even beat the first guy. I don't know how to play, you know? That's not me, at least. Centipede? Okay, here we go. And so, like, one interesting thing to note, I'm going to switch over to talking head mode for a sec. One interesting thing to note is, like, this system really came out at the end for Atari. So here's karateka. Let me hold it so you can see. It's color. It's got that silver thing that even 2600 games were kind of doing towards the end. Let me see. There we go. All right. Yeah, see, so it's not bad. Nice looking cartridge. But eventually these cartridges just turned into like grayscale, like they look like they're printed on a thermal printer. So that's what Centipede looks like. So this game came out, I think, 1988. So almost 6 years after Centipede was in arcades originally, after The Legend of Zelda, 1988, we're talking, major Nintendo games have already been released, and fucking Atari is releasing Centipede. And that is why the 7800 side. The hardware is okay. It's probably about as good as an NES. The audio is not good, but it's just baffling. That's what's baffling, Huh. I'm not getting any audio here. Uh-oh. You guys are you guys hearing audio for this? I'm not. Good news though, both buttons seem to be working pretty well, pretty responsive. So that's nice. But I can hear audio coming from the TV, but not from. Well, Topher, the Intellivision 2 was really just the Intelli. I mean, there wasn't really a difference. It wasn't the Intellivision 2 in the sense that there was a PS2. It was just a redesign of the existing Intellivision. So the hardware was the same, at least as far as I know. I don't think the Intellivision 2 was anything different, But I mean, I'm sure that this is just about as good as the version of Centipede that came out for NES. I mean, this is just Centipede. This is an arcade perfect version for the 80s, basically. There's not really anything in here that you would want. The graphics are about what they were in the arcade. Maybe a little less sharp, but the colors are right. The little Centipede guy looks right. The spider looks okay. I haven't seen the fleas or whatever other. This button is not ergonomic though. My thumb is already cramping up, squeezing it this way. So this is definitely one to play on the Ranger, I think. Oh yeah, there it was, the lice or the whatever that thing is that falls from the top. Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. It's the slim model. That's totally right. And I think that the Intellivision 2 was designed to fit the design ethos of the... no, I'm lying. Did Mattel have a computer system? Like the Mattel... The Atom was Coleco. What was the... Did Intellivision 2 have like a keyboard and stuff at some point? I can't remember. It's not my area of expertise, so... For some reason, I was thinking that the Intellivision 2 was some kind of like design tie-in to their Mattel computer system that I can't remember the name of. But I could be thinking of the Atom. I have a Coleco. I'm going to AV mod the Coleco, but right now, thanks to chip shortages, the main AV mod that everybody uses, the Mobius strip mod, is not available anymore. Come on, shoot! Why are you not shooting? I'm getting more Centipede guys on screen. Oh, shit. Yeah, a lot of those systems from that time had like a phone pad. The 5200 had one. The Coleco had one. That was kind of for whatever reason, that was the design aesthetic of the time. Was a nice numeric keypad, you know. All right, one more round of Centipede. That's kind of the problem with the 7800 is that all the good games, quote unquote, are basically just the same shitty arcade games. Or not shitty. I mean, Centipede's a great game, but I don't want to play Centipede. How many times have I played Centipede in my life? A lot. I'll tell you that much. That's why Karateka is actually kind of more interesting, just because I haven't played it to death, you know, even though it's definitely not as good a game as Centipede, objectively speaking, you know, but yeah, this button is not working for me, you know? Oh shit, I'm sitting here playing Centipede and I'm just talking to you guys. All right, Jesus Christ. That's why there was no sound. Oh my God, what a fucking idiot, you know? That's why I should never go to talking head mode. All right, well now we could talk about, God, here I was talking head mode, playing some delicious Centipede this whole time, but only I could see it. What a jerk. I mean, I know there's a strategy where you trap the Centipede in the lane, right, and then you just kind of shoot the Centipede. That's the kind of high-level Centipede play I hope that you all did not come here to see, because you're not going to see it. Oh God. Centipede, incidentally, one of the earliest arcade games designed by a woman. Interesting. Oh God. You guys coming to get me? Oh no. Oh, come on. I mean, again, I feel like the audio, I mean, this is Centipede. This is what Centipede sounded like. You know, for sure. And I guess I'd have to get the NES version of Centipede in front of me, but I definitely feel like there is something about the color palette on here that is more authentic to the arcade. But just being an anti-Nintendo bias talking. You all know it. You know that's what I do. Look at him. Look how sneaky he is. Going up and down like that. Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that spider, you know? Oh, look at that! Look at that, what that spider did to me. Oh yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. At this point in 1988, there was some pretty fantastic games out, but this is not a bad version of Centipede. For as versions of Centipede go, this is a totally serviceable. You want to play some Centipede, and this is objectively a better joystick, aside from the bad button placement. But the joystick itself, I think this is a better way to play Centipede than the D-pad on the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's my opinion, of course, but that's my 2 cents, you know? All right, what's next? So we got an interesting one here that I think is a 7800 exclusive, or at least a game that I've never played before. Desert Falcon. This one is kind of a Zaxxon style game where you literally, I thought it was a helicopter game, but you actually just play as a falcon flying through like an Egyptian desert. Interesting. Then we also got Dig Dug or Donkey Kong. What do we think? What do we want to see? Let's let the chat decide, you know? What else did Topher want to see? We did Centipede. All right, let's take a look at Donkey Kong. Let's play a Nintendo game. I do have Dig Dug, yeah. But let's play a Nintendo game on an Atari system. That actually is the same start menu as the NES had. Ooh, but that does not sound great. Wow, I don't know. Look at that scoreboard. This is pretty high res. This is it definitely looks better than ColecoVision, I'll tell you that. Pretty sharp. It looks pretty sharp. No! Oh, Mario! It's not clipping on my end. It could be that the audio itself coming out of the Atari is a little hot. I have the Tink in default mode, so I hope it's not doing any smoothing. It's possible that the UAV is doing some smoothing. Yeah, his Mario's footstep sounds are just wrong. They're not the little I mean, it definitely looks like there is, but the Tink Mini does not have any. Oh, you're right. Look at this. There is some clipping. Check. Well, that's on my mic, though. That's not on the game. The Tink Mini does not have a button, I don't think, to switch modes or anything like the Tink 2X. But did you guys? It didn't seem like there was smoothing going on in the last few games I played, right? This definitely does seem kind of smoothed out, though. It seems like there's some kind of filtering going on. Come on, make it up, buddy. Yeah, here we go. But like those, the scoreboard looks very high res for an 8-bit game. Well, the joining actually happens inside the system itself. There's hold on, let me just put a timer. Let me just turn that down a little bit. Yeah, so the 7800 has two different audio chips. One is the original Atari 2600 chip, and one is a new chip. And they kind of blend the sounds together of the two. So when I did the mod, there are two resistors that are tied to each of the different audio chips. And so the way you do the mod is you essentially wire the two resistors together, and then you run that to the positive leg of a capacitor, and then you run the negative leg out, and that goes to your audio, your composite audio. If you don't put the capacitor in that position, the sound coming off of the 2600 side is totally overblown and overpowered compared to the other side. So you need to modulate that. And it's possible that maybe this game is a little hot, even with that modification in place. Oh, well, I mean, I did link the two jacks together, but the sound is only in mono anyway, so there shouldn't be. There's not like stereo sound where one is louder than the other. It just is one audio signal. And so rather than having one audio jack, I have two that should be the same thing, right? Right? Am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Jump button on this controller is not quite reliable enough for the sort of precision control one needs for Donkey Kong. Well, as far as I know, based on the research I've done on the modifications that I've done, that is the method to do it if you want to avoid audio problems. Some people used to do the south side of those resistors, but apparently the north side audio is filtered in a way that makes it less irritating, which is why I did the top part of the resistors. Oh, come on. Look, there is an L for Luigi. Oh, I put myself on expert mode? No, let's do... We're not going to do that. We're going to do non-expert mode. Oh yeah, much easier. Much easier. No! I'm really taking you all on a tour of the Billy Mitchell classics here, you know? Yeah, but that Mario walking sound, that is terrible. I mean, that is just terrible. Come on, baby. No! All right, one more round of Donkey Kong, then we'll go for... I don't know, let's go for Dig Dug after that. Nobody wants to see Desert Falcon. That's fine. You know? They want to see what they know. This is good. I understand. Dig Dug was the first game that I booted up when I tested the thing, you know? What? Now what the hell is that? What the Can't get up the ladder. God, Mario. Desert Falcon. Would you like to fly? The Desert Falcon? I feel like in the arcade, they go down the... oh! I almost made it. All right, let's try Desert Falcon. I don't actually know how to play it, so this could be a bad mistake. Try for Desert Falcon. All right, Desert Falcon didn't want to load. So we're going to go Dig Dug. Let's check it out. No, we need more Dig Dug audio. And I seem to have started Dig Dug on a much higher level than is probably advisable. No! I got that sucker. Yeah, I blew on it, but it didn't work. You know? When in doubt, you know? Oh, I almost got a double kill. Come on. Let's get this guy. Yeah. Oh! I didn't do the 180 turn fast enough. Hello? All right, hold on 1 segundo.